How about this Friday night? This is big time, folks. Mountain West Showdown. The stars have aligned. We've got this game right where we want it. Both of these teams right in the mix to win it. And whoever the winner of this game is takes a huge step forward to not only winning the Mountain West, but maybe keeping their flickering playoff hopes alive as well. Boise State and UNLV. We've got Boise State 3-point road favorites at Allegiant in Las Vegas, 66.5 the total. There's so much to just break down about this game. I'll start with just what we saw last when these teams faced each other. Last year, it was the bowl game. Boise and UNLV. UNLV was coming off this great renaissance, resurgent season under Barry Odom, and they thought they were good enough in that game. There was the Las Vegas Bowl in this very stadium last December, and I think they thought they were good enough to compete with and beat Boise. And they got beaten down in that game. It was 44-20 for Boise State. The offense did whatever they wanted. Ashton Genty, of course, Talon Green's gone, the quarterback, but you still got Madsen at quarterback here this year for Boise, who's pretty solid. But the key matchup is, what is UNLV going to be able to do on defense against Ashton Genty? And last year they had no answer in the bowl game for Ashton Genty. 153 rushing yards in that game. He ran amok against UNLV's defense.
Last game of the year, yeah. That was the last game of the year. They played KU in the bowl game. Yeah, the last. Yeah, okay.
Oh no, sorry, that's not the bowl. You're right. It was the Mountain West Championship game.
The Mountain West Championship. There,
Mountain West Championship game. Right.
I remember it. Yeah, they got pounded. Yeah,
they got pounded, and they lost the Mountain West title to Boise. This is a spot and a game that I'm sure has been circled, highlighted 10 times over on the UNLV calendar and the UNLV schedule by the players and by everybody on this team. You know they've had this game in their crosshairs all season long. But I don't know defensively from UNLV with what I see from them, and even the Oregon State game last week, like, you should have closed that game out and you let them back in it. You're giving up, big plays to that Oregon State team. Still worried, do they have the chops defensively? And Syracuse, the one loss UNLV suffered, up and down the field, go the Syracuse offense in that game. Do they have the chops defensively to improve on giving up the 44 spot that they did in the Mountain West Championship game last year to the Boise State Broncos? And can they stop the run against Genty? That's the key matchup. If you're going to win this game, if you're UNLV, you've got to clamp down on the best running back in college football right now, and that is Ashton Genty. This year, their run defensive numbers are good. 104.4 rushing yards per game. 19th, believe it or not, in the country against the run for UNLV.
It's been the pass where they've gotten hurt.
It's secondary. Been the secondary where they've been hurt. So the matchup kind of plays a little bit in UNLV's favor. They're only giving up 3.4 yards per carry this year. But I will once again say they have not seen any Ashton Gentys, someone that good on the other side running the football against them. So it's the numbers say UNLV should be able to not totally shut. No one is totally shutting down Ashton Genty, but somewhat containing him, somewhat corralling him. The numbers kind of bear out they might be able to do that based on this year. But then your eyes tell you in the Mountain West Championship game last year that they couldn't stop him. And just like many teams that face Boise this year, won't be able to stop him. So it's very true. I want to bet UNLV badly, especially as +3 home underdogs here, because I think they've just been chomping at the bit to get another piece of Boise, after that championship game loss last year. But you can't argue with how dominated they were. You can't, sugarcoat how dominated they were. 527 to 298 in total yards in that 44-20 loss. You can't sugarcoat that Boise has completely and utterly dominated this team for over almost a decade every time they've played each other, and you're only laying 3 here with Boise. So, like I said, it's a question. It's a concern for the run defense. It's a concern for the number maybe not being enough. Maybe I need a little more than 3. I do love what I'm seeing from Haj Malik, though. I must say that. Haj Malik Williams, I continue to like what I'm seeing. The offense there's no problem with the offense. They have been phenomenal. He's running the ball as well. Everyone told me Slook is the better runner. I don't know about that. Sort of looks to me like Haj Malik Williams can run the ball well. Jaden Thomas and a good Ricky White incredible receiver. Say nothing of Jacob DeJesus, who's also a great kick returner as well for this UNLV team. This is a great football game, man. It's a really great football game. I think matchups kind of favor Boise, but situationals and intangibles, I'm not betting against UNLV at this number and at this price, even with my matchup concerns, because I know for a fact they've got this game fucking quadruple circled. They want some payback here against Boise, and they want to show that they're ready to measure up here in this spot. And with just how well they've been prepared week in and week out, that matters to me. And I'll say this about Boise: their defense is still suspect. It's not a great Boise defense. We've seen them give up points this season. 30 to Utah State, 24 to Washington State. Oregon sliced and diced them. Georgia Southern in the first game kind of sliced and diced them. So Boise's defense has enough flaws. UNLV with Williams and company could be able to take advantage. I'm leaning UNLV. I like the total more. I think it's probably a high-scoring affair between these two teams. I know it's a high total. We're starting to see these Boise totals, and for that matter, these UNLV totals start to adjust and get higher. But hard not to envision points in this game with these two teams. Great game, CMAC. What do you think here, this Friday night showdown in the Mountain West?
Yeah, this should be really, really good. It is. Because the one thing is just with UNLV, this is the step-up game. Like, with all these teams that they beat and played, like this, and a team that's owned their ass just consistently. But even dating to last year, the Mountain West, that game you were talking about, they just got handed to in that one. But I thought the game, tough place to play. Oregon State a little bit down, but they scrapped down early. Then that game goes over. But too many field goals, kind of a little bullshit in that game. It just stayed under by a point. I think you got to think there's points. I think it's pretty sharp at this, but I still lean over. I mean, I don't know how there's a ton of stops, but at 66, that's getting up there. One thing, both these teams want to run it, but both of the better that they do on defense is stop the run. UNLV, maybe with Boise, been pretty good. They've been only giving up about 105 a game. Both these teams, it's their secondary has got shredded. 276 for Boise, 286 for UNLV a game. So can this help out? Like, UNLV wants to run it. We know that. Of course, Ricky White, who's going to be playing on Sundays, I would be all over him, double him like crazy if I could in this game. So, but this is what Odom. This is the game. This should be a lot of fun. I just haven't seen it in the big game like this. UNLV step it up as much as they've been money and keep winning. I want to take them here. I think this might be the time, but I'm going to sit with it a little bit more. I mean, it should be really fun, and you're not going to stop, Genty.
I think if you're going to take UNLV, either take +3 and split it with team total, or just bet team total, because then you don't have to worry about the UNLV defense against Boise and Genty in particular, which got 44 points against them last year. So it might be one of those deals where if you like UNLV, bet team total over instead of the spread, or at the very least split it up between the spread and the team total.
Yeah, this should be good.
It is. This must watch if you're any sort of college football fan coming up on Friday night. I'm looking forward to that for sure with Boise and UNLV.